that the challenge that you're overcoming is not for you to buy your brand new car. That's not motivating enough. It's for you to become the person who you feel like you deserve to be. It's for you to become the person that your family is going to be proud of. It's for you to become that person where your daughter can look at you and say, I'm so proud of my dad. If you know why you're doing something and what your intentions are regarding that something, I'll give you an example. If you're building a business just purely to make money, I found I've tried that in the past and it didn't end well for me, because how much money is ever going to be enough? It's that old adage of, you're just going to keep on wanting the next thing and the next thing and the next. And that's great, because we want to have progress as human beings. We need that to survive and to thrive. But it becomes very, very hard if you're not getting your way and you do run into challenges, which we are all going to do. And we've got a lot of these days already. That's a constant process. So how are you going to enable yourself to consistently, if you know challenges are always going to be there, how are you consistently going to be able to wake up in the morning with energy to take on the challenge? And the way I see it is you can't run from it. You got to face the challenge head on. You got to have a kind of like a warrior mentality to say, listen, come what come may, I'm ready for the fight. I'm willing to go to battle. But where does that energy come from? And the way my mind works is I ask myself a lot of very hard questions. For instance, what are people going to think, and how will they remember me when I'm dead? What will they remember when I'm not here anymore? What is my family going to remember about me? Not necessarily what I leave them, but they'll remember a lot of other characteristics. That's what I would want them to remember. How I went about my business, how I built things, what I valued, the time I spent with them, the person that I was and what I stood for, is something that can drive you every single day. And that really helps when it comes to tough times, because...
Thank you for watching. Just a quick reminder to grab your gift pack for entrepreneurs in the link below. It's a gift pack for entrepreneurs to the value of 57,000 Rand, free of charge. All you need to do is activate it. Part of that gift pack for entrepreneurs is a voucher of 3 months for 3 months free accounting services from a company, Drake Holdings. All you need to do is activate the gift pack voucher in the link below, and we will be in contact with you as soon as you've done that. Thank you for watching, and back to the interview.
That for me helped me to realize that, geez, okay, as bad as things are, as doom and gloom as they seem, and even though it feels like the world is caving in on you, you still have that fire and that vigor to say, you know what, it ain't over until it's over. I have a big enough reason as to why I don't necessarily want to do it, but I have to keep going. I simply have to keep going until things get better. So you're willing to fight until you get the result. You're willing to try one more time until you get whatever success looks like, for you. And I think those tough questions that you ask yourself, that's something that's helped me on the journey. What are those things that are going to continuously drive you to just keep on going? Because if it is just material things, you're going to end up quitting. At some stage, you're going to give up. At some stage, you're going to say, I can't handle this anymore. I'm not going where I want to go. I'm not getting what I want to get. My goals and dreams are diminished. I don't know where to go from here. But if you reassess and you get a different perspective, and it's almost like you have that perspective of, you need to relish in the challenge. How do you get to that place where you can actually relish in the opportunity, where it's actually like just it's just another challenge, but you've become so warrior, like you've got this warrior mindset so ingrained in you that you have no other option but to keep fighting, and you actually love the fight. You end up loving the fight. You end up loving the challenge, because you know that the challenge that you're overcoming is not for you to buy your brand new car. That's not motivating enough. It's for you to become the person who you feel like you deserve to be. It's for you to become the person that your family is going to be proud of. It's for you to become that person where your daughter can look at you and say, I'm so proud of my dad. he's such a hero. He just never gives up. He never quits. And he's always fighting for me. You know, like that, just talking about it just inspires me so much. And once again, it's different for different people. You know, when I tell this to Shemaine, like, it's cool, that's motivating and all, that's the way I operate. But she's like, Gary, I don't want to think about 5 years from now, you know? Where I'm like 5 years from now, things are going to be different because I'm going to fight for the next 5 years if I have to. You know, whatever the situation looks like now, I don't care. In 5 years from now, I'm going to look back and I'm going to be so proud of myself that I didn't give up.
Yes.
That's the feeling I'm after.
Go reverse engineer. Go to your deathbed and reverse engineer to today, because that's the only way you can actually get to a point where you can, you know, what I want to say goals, but what you want to achieve in life. How do you want to remember? That comes back to your ikigai. And why do I wake up in the morning? Do I just wake up for myself and to go make a lot of money for myself? Or do I want to wake up in the morning and serve a lot of people and help a lot of other people, to empower them and for them to make money, or whatever the case may be, create better humans, and in return the money will flow?
It's never as good as it seems, but it's also never as bad as it seems. That's something what my mentor always reaffirms. It's never as good as it seems, but it's also never as bad as it seems. And the other thing is, the whole point is just life is a bunch of challenges. And you know, even though you are now in a better place, or you might have different business and different income streams, and guess what? Like, the next thing will come, you know, and the next challenge will come again. And then you've got to learn how to overcome that again. And I think it's very, like, sometimes you got a lot of motivational speakers, and I mean, I'm young myself. Like, I mean, all I can share is my story. But at the end of the day, sometimes these things are so theoretical, and things that you read in a book, you read the book and you sort of like think, wow, that's cool. But it's only really until you experience a lot of these things yourself that you can relate and you can actually overcome. And that's why we have to go through things, so that we can grow from experience and grow within that. But I think it's important to realize that it's a continual process. It's not going to end, and you just get better and you do get stronger, but you have to find some kind of mechanism within each and every one of us. You have to find a mechanism whereby you realize that this is why I will be able to overcome anything that comes my way at the end of the day. And yes, some things might be worse than others, and some might be catastrophic at that certain moment in time. But you will still have that something within you that will be willing to fight and willing to overcome, if you can just change your perspective on certain things. You know, and that's continual. I think it's definitely a continuous process.
Life and personal growth and personal development is never an event. It's always a process. So it's always a process of aiming to be your best version, but you will never get to that point of your best version. If you get to a point that you believe you're at your best version, you're stuck.
Yeah.
I'm in like, you know, I'm in martial arts. I used to be a kickboxing instructor, and what I always tell the people in the class is, when we had certain exercises that we had to do, like certain rounds, and then it's like 10 minutes, and you just aiming to get to as much rounds as possible in 10 minutes. So it's like almost like a chase for yourself. And I always told them, like, I might be able to do 13 rounds of that in my better, fitter days, and but my previous record might be 5. But I'm striving to do better rounds every time. But I'm not comparing myself to Gary that's also doing that. If you do three rounds a day and 4 rounds tomorrow, you've improved yourself. You've improved yourself in that process. And there's nothing to do with me that done 13, 15 or 16 rounds. It's absolutely, you don't compare yourself. And I think that's the biggest thing about what limiting us in growth as well. We compare. I'm comparing myself so much to Gary that I can't find my own ikigai and the way I need to live. So as long as we see it's a constant process of always evolving and developing and growing. I mean, and like you say, that you won't ever get to the point of thinking you are the oak.
But you need to go and study, learn, and become an expert in your field, and go and have a look at what other people in your industry have been doing to cope with what's happening right now. Go and invest in some courses on how to brand yourself online. Go and invest in some tools to learn how to build your business online, adding value. Now, how do you add value, Jasper? That's the next thing, so that's a complex, goes into like a lot of detail in terms of that. But go and research. I mean, I think there's enough information out there for people to learn and to grow, and they should utilize that. And by growing yourself, I think is a very, very important aspect. When all you're thinking about is the bottom line, it can sometimes be a dangerous place to be, because growing yourself and becoming the best version of yourself and becoming an expert in your field and investing in things that can better your business, learning about those things. Go buy a course on digital marketing. Udemy is a great platform that you can use. Udemy, you can get like courses for 150, 200 Rand on how to build a business online and how to start building a brand online. And growing yourself is going to help you to grow your business, essentially. I mean, Jim Rohn always says, for things to change, you've got to change. And stop looking outwards, start looking inwards. And once again, start taking responsibility and take ownership for what's yours. But the whole thing around values is moving away from the thing of, I'm just trying to sell you something and my product's the best, my product is great, and here I am. No, everybody's selling their products everywhere. So rather talk about those benefits that product has, but instead of doing that, start educating people and giving them value that can better their lives, that can better their circumstance, and in ways in which your product can better their lives. Don't sell your product, but sell the benefits of it and add value in terms.
Yes, for sure.